Hello people and welcome back. Right, so I took this thing for a spin up the road yesterday. Definitely wasn't running on all four cylinders on the way back. Now after doing a little bit of homework, reading through some forums, some people have found that the coils are the issue. These are the replacement ones for my two original mismatch ones. So first thing I'm going to do is whip these two off, put the original two back on, and just take it for another spin up the road and see if that remedies the problem. Let's do it. Okay, here we have the old original ones back in there. Still 10 to 7 on a Sunday morning, so I might give it another hour or so before I go for a ride. A bit early. So changing the coils seemed to make no difference. Only seems to do it at high RPM or mid to high. So maybe it's a fuel injector, dirty, clogged. Don't know. Any thoughts you guys might have? Much appreciated. I'm pretty sure those Hall sensors were put in the right spots. So yeah, a bit more investigating to do. But I'll tell you what, it is pretty quick. It accelerates pretty bloody quick. Okay, back to the drawing board. Okay, so I've found something, and I'm slightly embarrassed, very embarrassed. I've just noticed that none of these collars for the throttle bodies here, none of them, I've done any of them up. So whether that's part of the problem, it's sucking in air, I don't know, but that's somewhere to start. Yeah. Okay, I'll tighten those up. Okay, so the loose collars there, tightening those up made no difference whatsoever. I've just pulled out all the injectors and the fuel rail. Now it says in the book that the injectors should be 16 ohms across the windings on each one, and they are. And then I have connected each one up to a battery, and you can hear the little solenoid inside each one clicking. So that's okay. Now I've pulled the fuel line off, and round the back is a fuel pressure regulator. Reading the forums, it said that could be an issue, that it's not got enough pressure or it's got too much. And it actually changes that pressure with this little vacuum hose here. The more you open the throttle, the more fuel it lets flow through, so that could be an issue. But the way to test it, I need a fuel pressure gauge. and they sell those at the local hardware store for about 25 bucks. So I'll go pick one of those up tomorrow when I go back to work, and hook that thing in and go from there. So yeah, it's all very strange. I'm not 100% sure. I'm not a mechanic, that's for sure. So yeah, we'll just keep working at it and see what we can find. Okay, just had a package arrive. Now this one here is from Van Hill in the UK. I believe there's a Van Hill in the States as well. This is a throttle and clutch cable kit. You make your own cables up. Now the ones that I've got on the BMW at the moment are just some old ones I had laying around, which I hacked and chopped and yeah, did all sorts of nasty stuff to get it working. Now these ones here, you solder the ends, and I've been doing a bit of homework. If you've ever tried to solder an end on one of these cables, it almost never works. That's because apparently a lot of the stock cables are stainless, and stainless doesn't like to be soldered. These ones here are a galvanized steel, I think. So I've got to get a proper lead solder that you'd use on windows and stuff like that. So yeah, it comes with all different ferrules or nipples or whatever you want to call them. Now my big soldering iron has stopped working, so I've got to get a big heavy duty one. I've got a small one for circuit boards, but that's rubbish. So I'll get myself a new soldering iron. I'll get some lead, probably from the hardware shop, see if they've got it, and then we'll get onto these at some stage. Cool. Okay, so I've managed to get this fuel pressure gauge off of a guy at work, much appreciated. So I am going to hook this in. Now if I hook this straight onto the pump, I should get 68 psi. The pump has got its own internal relief valve, which is supposed to be at about 68 psi. Then I hook this in with the T, and I should get about 38. Just reading in here. 36, sorry. So it should be 36. Now reading online and a lot of the forums, a lot of misfiring and rough idling can be caused by the fuel regulator, pressure regulator being a bit dicky. So we shall check this pressure now and see what happens. Okay, so I gave it a quick run and she spun right round, man. So I don't think the internal pressure relief valve and the pump is working at all. The motor almost stalled. I'll give it a quick run and you can see and maybe listen to it. So the red is PSI, so it was going right round to 150. So that's not too good. So I'll get it hooked in a T and we'll see what it's like when it's running normally. Okay, so we are hooked in a T, so it should pump through the fuel rail, through the pressure regulator and back to tank again. So we should see about 36, which is pretty much where this mark is. So let's see what happens. So that there is 40, 45, 42. Is that too high? Maybe. Okay, what I'll do now is I'll start the bike and I'll see if it fluctuates at all. this little vacuum hose here, that goes round to the regulator. Now I just pulled that off and saw something rather interesting happening in there, and I'll just start the bike up and see if so I don't know if you saw that, but you could see a little flame in there. I'm guessing that's not good. So yeah, a bit more investigating to do. As for the pressure on here, is it too high? Don't know. Now, my fuel pump that is very, very noisy, did some investigation, and up in here is a non-return valve with a ball bearing and a spring. So basically it's a one-way valve, and I actually found in the book here, now I've got to try and find it. Fuel return valve. On the original 100 models, a spring-loaded ball valve was fitted in the fuel return hose to seal off the passageway whenever the tank was removed. This was found to be annoyingly noisy in operation, however, especially from just above idle speed. So the valve was modified in 1985 models onwards. The modification, which consists of removing the spring, can be carried out. And yeah, I did actually pull this out, and there is a little spring and a ball bearing in there, so it's just noisy. It must be just vibrating somehow. So yeah. So yeah, if anyone's got any thoughts on that fuel regulator pressure, whether I order one or not, I'm not sure. Don't know how accurate this thing is. What was I, 42, and I'm supposed to be 36, so is that difference a huge difference? I don't know. I'll have to do some more investigation. Okay, so just got 4 new spark plugs. Thank you, Aaron, very much. Now these are the old ones that I pulled out. These are the 2 end cylinders, quite dark and carboned up. And these are the 2 front ones, which are less carboned up. So I'm not sure what that's telling me. It's telling me something. So I've set the gap on these ones. I think it's 0.8 of a millimeter. So we'll whack these new ones in. Before I carry on, Aaron also got me this beer cooler. Check this out. How good is that? That is absolutely awesome. Gonna need another one of these in a minute. Okay, found something very interesting. Silicon stuff that I use, that blue Hylamar or whatever it's called, has reacted with the petrol, I'm guessing, and yeah, it's gone all funny. So maybe it was a vacuum leak. Okay, picked up some Permatex today, Gasket Sealant. Gonna give this a blast and see how it goes. Well, she looks more like chocolate spread than anything else, but it says to leave it for 5 minutes to go tacky, and then we'll throw it in. Okay, so all 4 of those are done, and I've just changed the coils back to my good looking ones. Now, with this here, one of these was a bit loose, so I got some of these, and I wanted to change all 8 of them, but they didn't have 8, they only had 4, so I'm probably just going to do the 4 bottom ones, just change those while I got this on the bench, and it's nice and easy to get to, so I'll do that now. Okay, she's all back together. Sure as hell hope this fixed it. There's only one way to find out. So make my dog go crazy. Still doing it. Still doing it. Okay, that's not good. Okay, I think I need to step away and take a break. Just doing my head in. Okay, so let's recap what I've tried. I've tried different coils. Hasn't made any difference. I've swapped these 2 injectors over to see if this thing was still shooting that little flame, and it made no difference. I've re-siliconed up these bases, which I thought was a problem. It's made no difference. I put these new collars on here, Jubilee clips, whatever you want to call them, made no difference. I have checked the fuel regulator. Now, going back to that fuel regulator, it was showing about 40. I did notice when I was just looking at the video before, when I disconnected it, the 0 wasn't quite sitting on 0. It was, the needle was just above 0, so it probably was pretty accurate. So I don't think there's a problem with the fuel pressure. Is it a problem with the valves? Don't know. Anybody got any suggestions? Let me know. Yeah, I'm at a bit of a dead end, to be honest. So anyway, I shall leave this video here. It's getting a bit long. Hopefully I find a solution to the problem. If I've got to pull this thing to bits, it's got to be pulled to bits, so be it. And that's just how it goes. So anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video, and we shall see you in the next one.